Hello, a very warm welcome to Glazier's Hall. Well, what a fight we have for you in just a few weeks' time. It's a fight that's been, bubbling for a while and everybody is talking about it. Chris Eubank Jr versus Liam Williams in Cardiff on December the 11th. Johnny Nelson is alongside me. Johnny, this has the potential to be such a tasty fight.
I know Liam. Liam is a no-nonsense kind of guy. He trains at our gym in Sheffield. And so he's used to fighting unorthodox fighters, boxers, fighters and everything. But he doesn't joke. So he's kind of a straight talker. So I'm trying to remember the fight at Chris box where he basically wouldn't shake his hand, and you can't do that to Liam because he'll take that stuff personal. And his job is to try and talk Chris into coming and being toe-to-toe with him and fighting at his fight. If he does that, then that's a silly thing for Chris to do. Chris needs to use what he's learnt from Roy Jones, box and bash. But he's got to put his ego in check because Chris likes to have a tear-up as well.
But how hard will that be?
Very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard because Liam will be there to be hit, but he's there to hit as well. Chris, we know instinctively, naturally, he wants to fight. We've seen with I think this is his third fight under Roy Jones, that he's tried to implement what Roy has asked of him. And at times you can see him stuck in between. I want to fight. Oh no, I'll box.
Do you think that we need to see a bit more on December the 11th?
I think from Eubank's side, there needs to be an improvement in every. We need to see an improvement and an adaptation from Roy's influence in every fight for him to get where Roy wants him to be, because he wants him up there with the top dogs to be able to compete, not just compete, win, not just win, to stay there at the top. Roy doesn't waste his time on rubbish. Roy's putting his reputation, his time and effort into a fighter that he thinks can do it. Chris has the ability to do it. This is, they were trying to chase the big fights for Chris at the back end of the year, the Golovkins.
Well, he said he only wants the big fights, doesn't he? He wants the legacy fights.
This is a big fight domestically, because when this was announced, many people said, this could be a banana skin. It could be, and this will be about discipline. For Chris, he's got to stick to his discipline, otherwise he's going to come in there. He's up against another fighter that's live, that's hungry, that's ambitious, that's in exactly the same position as he is. When was the last time he actually fought somebody like that?
And also, it's in Cardiff.
In Cardiff, in the Lion's Den. So like his dad was comfortable walking in to booze. I didn't mind that either. And
do you think Chris is the same? Do you think he embraces that and almost feeds off the fact that there will be booze there? He won't be the favourite, not in terms of favourite, but he won't be the like person in that arena.
There are very few fighters that are comfortable in that environment. Chris is one of them. He's comfortable in that environment because there's an ignorance to say, I don't actually care what you lot say because I'm better than you all and I can fight. So that happens to him. He's actually not bothered. Some fighters, it gets them going. Some fighters, it breaks them, it intimidates them. Chris is not the kind of guy where he's going to be intimidated. And it says a lot for him to say, I'll do this in your backyard. That says the answer. Otherwise, they'll say, no, let's keep it somewhere neutral. It gives the answer. So it'll be a good fight, good atmosphere.
There's a real, should we say, there's quite a buzz around the room, isn't there, ahead of this press conference? Because sometimes you never know what you're going to get. And today, it kind of feels, like I said at the top, it could get tasty. There is beef between these two, the back and forth on social media as well. Heard off record that Liam Williams is just going to come and he really wants to bring it today.
So, there's a guy called Willie Hutchinson in our gym, and he's a proper wind-up merchant. And Liam hated him at first because he's in your face, he's nagging all the time. So if Chris does any of that stuff, if he dismisses him, he disrespects him, if he dismisses him like he's nothing, this is the kind of guy Liam's the kind of guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's not playing our game, he's not playing Chris's game. Like, listen, I ain't playing that stuff.
It's not an act, is it, with Liam?
It's not an act at all. And so, again, if he tries to be cool, I'm going to count down to how long that cool will last. But it's now you've got two honest, serious cockfighters, and so therefore it's a good clash of personalities.
Definitely, and Chris Eubank Jr, he's not a man that, he doesn't use expletives, doesn't he? He doesn't like normally going down that road. Could Liam Williams, could he be the man to sort of really get under his skin and bring that out of him?
Well, sometimes it's usually when they're quiet you think, this is going to build up to a biggie. I think Chris will be very dismissive of Liam, to say, more or less ignoring him. to say, yeah, it's just another stepping stone. He'll keep dropping that one-liner and like, yeah, another stepping stone. And that alone will wind Liam up to say, you think I'm a stepping stone? So it's how long Liam can hold his nerve, hold his temper, hold his boil.
How long are you giving him?
I don't think he'd get halfway through. I really don't, because Chris will be very subtle with it and dismissive enough with it. I think Dominic Ingle is a great wind-up merchant as well. And
so what will he be saying to Liam now on the way here?
Take no nonsense. Take no nonsense. Let him get his respect. Let him know you're here. It's either that or play the game. And remember, if you come in here respectful and quiet and meek, Chris is going to be confident to say, yeah, I'm better than you. This is what I can do. You know, Liam's got to get his attention so he respects him. And so again, I'm interested to see how it rolls out. I don't know if Roy's turning up or not today, but I know Dominic and Liam know it's a big deal. And remember, Kid Gallagher had lost last week.
Exactly.
You know, so they need to lift the spirits of the gym again. And it's wipe your lips, as Brendan says, and get on with it. Come on, get back on with the job.
It's a 50-50 fight, isn't it? Are you seeing it that way?
I do. But then I could be a little biased because I know what Liam's capable of. But on paper, you've got to look at the guy that it favours. And the favourite is Eubank. The favourite is Eubank because of the experience he's had, the fights he's been in, the performance he's put up. So I wouldn't say 50-50. I'd say more like 60-40. And so, but it's a fight. The odds could easily be turned around. It's a good fight to look forward to.
And I think the fact that it is in Cardiff, like we said, I think we're going to have Adam Smith coming to join us. How lovely. Good to see you. Haven't seen you yet today. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
We're just getting very excited about this because...
Let me slip out. Slip in.
Oh.
See you, John.
Johnny's had enough.
Is that it? He's dragging me out. He's saying, get off.
He's only contracted to 5 minutes and then he has to go. We're just saying about the buzz around this because it is something... There's a real needle to this. It could get tasty up there. I'm glad that you are in between the two fighters today and not me.
Yeah, look, it's a fantastic fight first and foremost, and I think with every great sort of jewel in Britain and big blockbusters we've had, a bit of needle and spice is just adds to the pot, doesn't it? And I think Liam's been pretty unhappy with Chris Eubank for quite a long time now, and Chris has sort of bitten his tongue at times, but I think he might react
at times.
There's no love lost, which is. This is a very healthy competition. It's a big fight. Obviously, Chris Eubank wants to become a real star in this middleweight division, and he's now got the platform to do that with Sky, and obviously his promoters Wasserman working in conjunction with Boxer, which is great to see. But Liam Williams wants to wreck all those plans, and I love the fact that we're going to Cardiff, into the Lions' Den for Chris, and back to Wales for us. And we haven't been for a long time. We've had obviously a huge history in Welsh boxing over the years, and it'd be fantastic to go back there, before Christmas, and I think the Cardiff fans will all come out. I cannot wait for this fight.
Since we've been working with Chris, he has spoken about wanting those big fights, the legacy fights. But like you just said there, Liam Williams could come and upset the party. He cannot overlook Liam Williams, and he has to put on a performance, doesn't he, to secure those bigger fights?
Yeah, listen, it's a pick 'em fight for a lot of people. Some might feel Chris starts a slight favourite.
Johnny said 60-40, I said 50-50, but...
I think so, but Liam won't see it like that one little bit. He had a great run at Demetrius Andrade earlier in the year. He's a very, very established fighter. What I love about it is that he'll bring a lot of heat to it as well, and Chris will have to work for every minute of it, which is what he wants to do. He's been working under Roy Jones for a couple of years now. He wants these big fights, and yeah, I think it really is it's a bit of an acid test for Chris Eubank Jr. this fight, and I love it. I think it's really important that we've got it on Sky Sports so all our customers can enjoy it. I think it's a real statement of intent, and I think it's going to be a great way to run into Christmas. We lost Josh Taylor. Unfortunately, that was put back to February. We felt we had to get a really big fight in December, and that's what we're going to deliver.
And of course, let's not forget, also on the card is the magnificent Clarissa Shields. I mean, when you talk of a festive feast of boxing, this really is it, isn't it, on December the 11th?
It is, it was fantastic when we signed Savannah Marshall. Obviously, we've worked with her for a long time, and Boxer announced Savannah as one of their fighters. We had that wonderful night in Newcastle where she shone, didn't she, and became a real star that night. I think it was almost a coming out party at home. But obviously, the big rivalry is with Clarissa Shields, who she beat in the amateurs. Clarissa unbeaten, of course, as a pro boxer, unifying divisions. She's an absolute superstar in America, but coming over to fight in Britain is something special. So she'll be defending her world middleweight titles on the same card as Eubank and Liam Williams, and Savannah will be there ringside as well. So we expect to get Savannah back out probably in February, and then hopefully they'll clash in the spring. So it's brilliant times, and I think it's new times, it's exciting, and getting these big fights together just gives everybody something to look forward to.
Definitely, like I said, a real Christmas tree, and in Cardiff as well, December the 11th. I mean, that'll be the perfect time to get things going.
Yeah, it will be. Obviously, it's been a difficult time with the pandemic over the last sort of year or two. I've just come from the darts, where it was fantastic to see thousands back in Wolverhampton, and everybody's sort of getting close to their heroes again, and that's what it will be like, I think, at the Motor Point. We've been there many times over the years with Joe Calzaghe and Nathan Cleverly and many other fighters in Wales. We go right back to the Robbie Regan days and the Steve Robinson days, and it's been a fantastic sort of place for us to venture at Sky. But I think that Motor Point Arena will be cram-packed, and Liam Williams' fans will be out in force, and Eubank will be going to the Lions Den a bit like his dad used to.
But do you think that will affect Chris Eubank Jr., or do you think he will embrace that and use it?
I think he's his father's son, isn't he? And we saw so many times over the years of his dad, in Germany, and standing on the ring apron and just embracing that hatred. And I think that Chris is very single-minded. He's very dedicated. He's very focused. I think he'll actually love the fact. In fact, I know that he loves the fact that it's going to be in Cardiff. He's like, no problem at all. I think he'll see it. A ring's a ring. A fight is there to be beat, and that's what he'll do. Trying to do a number on Liam Williams, but Liam will have all the support, all the Welsh passion, the pride, and obviously his own dreams of still trying to become a world champion. So it's a great fight, because a fight's always good when you don't quite know how it's going to go and who's going to win, but it's going to be action-packed, and that's what these two will deliver.
And the potential for fireworks, which exactly this has the potential for all that and more, doesn't it?
It does indeed. It depends a little bit on sort of what mood I think Chris is in up there, but I think Liam will really...
It's down to you, Adam. You can start poking the bear as well. You're in the middle.
Yeah, look, I mean, we want that, don't we? We want the sort of the rivalry between them. That's what it's all about. You think back to the days of Chris's dad and the fights he had with Steve Collins and Nigel Benn, of course, and those sort of great rivalries, and you need a dance partner at times, and I like the fact that these two are now finally sharing the ring. Look, if it's a great fight, maybe they'll do it again. So, because there's something about that British rivalry, the domestic duels, and we do love it, and it's obviously it's got more important connotations about going towards world titles for the pair of them. Chris Eubank wants to become a genuine star, but he's got to get a little move on now, and Liam Williams will be trying to blunt that.
So this is Chris's third fight, I think, with Roy Jones Jr. Mm-hmm. A relationship that it's been building, isn't it? They seem to work well together. Chris is like a sponge, he says. Yeah. He really soaks up what Roy Jones is saying to him. What would you like to see from Chris, though, on December the 11th? Because so far, we've seen everything that Roy Jones has asked him to do. Do we need to see a little bit more?
I think that's a really good question. They've been sort of knitting together for the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, and yeah, he believes he's learning so much under Roy. I mean, who wouldn't? Roy was such a wonderful fighter who I think at one point was amongst the very best the world's ever seen. Loved that period that he was just destroying everybody at light heavyweight and went up to heavyweight and beat John Ruiz. And if he'd retired there, I think you'd remember Roy Jones Jr. as probably one of the top three of all time. He went on a little bit too long, but he was absolutely fantastic. And as a coach, you've got to be with him and around him. And I think that's brilliant to have Roy with him. But I think we do need to see more from Chris. I think we'll need to see not just the boxing skills, but we'll need to see some real toe-to-toe aggression as well, because he have to deal with Liam Williams, who's quite some force, isn't he, Callie?
On cue, Callis Howland.
I'll start talking about Mr. Eubank first.
I was just saying that so far we've seen from Chris, he has been working well with Roy, hasn't he? And I said, do we need to see a little bit more from him on December the 11th? Are we going to see a bit more?
Well, we're going to need to, because it's about a step up year. Every fight has been about a step up. He had that big period of inactivity before, came back in May, made a good impression, made an even better impression in October in Newcastle. And December, it's a whole new level. But he's been there before. He's been there before at that level. He's performed at that level. Williams, we know, world number 6. But this isn't about world number 1 against world number 6. This is all about, for me, real throwback stuff. You know, going into the Lions Den, Cardiff. It's going to be hot as hell in there. I've seen Chris myself, promoted him in Germany, in Turkish part of Germany against Yildirim, walking through a sort of Galatasaray welcome to hell atmosphere with the Union Jacks across him.
He seems to enjoy that. We've just been talking about that.
Loves it, ice cold, and always delivers. And so did the father. So it's going to be fascinating. Both guys, no reverse gear in that car of either of them. Only know one way, and it's forward. So for the fans, what an absolute blockbuster.
Absolutely. What we always say is what's in the cat's in the kitten, isn't it? And that is proof with Chris Eubank Jr, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think we're going to get the first feeling today of how much these boxers like each other at this press conference.
What are you expecting today? Because we're hearing that Liam is going to bring it. He wants a bit of beef. Will Chris bite, or will he sort of try and keep him at arm's length? He doesn't like to kind of be drawn into that, does he, Chris?
No, but he does enjoy it. I've witnessed it with Yildirim. You know, we had that absolutely crazy press conference with Yildirim. I've seen it with the George Groves press conferences. You know, he's more of a counter puncher, I would say, at these press conferences, but. You know, he doesn't seem to like Williams much, and Williams definitely doesn't like him much. And I do believe that Williams will come in aggressive, but Chris can give as good as he gets.
Because this could be a potential banana skin, couldn't it, for Chris? It's a serious fight. Chris wants the big fights. He wants the legacy fights. But he knows he's got to get past Liam. And does he have to produce a statement to get those bigger fights?
I think he's got to win. I don't think he has to produce a statement. I think to win, he's going to have to produce a statement, if you understand what I mean. But this is a fight that is the fight for the world titles for next year, for those big fights next year. And what better way of doing it than to have a domestic blockbuster? And that's what it is. I mean, it's the biggest... And that's not just promoter talk. You know, I'd like to challenge anyone out there to tell me a bigger all-British fight this year. And an all-British fight which really throws back those memories of the father against, you know, whether it was Ben, Collins, Watson, fights that have such a legacy on our sport.
So what happens? What's going to happen then, Calla?
Oh, well, Eubank's going to win, of course.
In style?
Absolutely in style, but in a real fight. In a real fight, I think Williams is a great forward-thinking fighter. I just think that Chris's boxing IQ will be, and his speed, and you know, I think there's too many dynamics to it. I see that Williams is a very, very good fighter. Ingle, super trainer,
and he is chomping at the bit to be released.
Listen, both are chomping at the bit. It's going to be interesting. Ingle in the one corner, Roy Jones in the other corner. It's something else we can talk about in the lead up to the fight. There's so many different talking points around this fight. And I'll tell you something, after this press conference today, there'll be even more.
How excited do you get about this kind of thing? Really?
Yeah, no, I do. There's fights, you know, you come to the presser and you're thinking, okay, you know, it's a press conference. I hope they talk. Today, it's...
I don't think you're going to have any worries there today.
I pretty much said what I'm going to say up there. You know, there's not really much more I can say. It's not my job. They are going to put on a show, I'm sure, today, and certainly on December 11th.
Well, you definitely need to do it all again. I'm going to let you go, and then we're going to bring in Ben. It's a revolving door. Ben Shalom from Boxer. This is the revolving door. Look how excited you are.
I am excited. Obviously, our first show was about 40 days ago. And to have done.
Has it been a long 40 days?
It's been a hard 40 days. I mean, we've been building the stable from scratch, and we've had Savannah come on, Clarissa come on, done a lot in women's boxing, and we always wanted to get the biggest fights in Britain live on Sky Sports. And when the Josh Taylor Catchwolf event got postponed, we thought, what can we do in December? But to have this, I mean, we've worked hard on it. Thanks to Wasserman as well for getting Chris over the line. Thanks to Sky. Sky have obviously shown their commitment by making this not on pay-per-view as well. So no, I'm really excited for this one.
It is. I mean, I said it at the top. It's a festive feast. We have the mouth-watering main event that everybody, as so many people are talking about and excited about. But we've also got Clarissa Shields as well fighting on that card. It's a brilliant card.
It is a brilliant card, and I think it is Clarissa Shields' debut. Obviously, we wanted Savannah Marshall on this show as well. She's going to be there in the crowd. I know Michaela Mayer's coming over because Tasha Jonas just signed for us last week. So women's boxing is on the rise. We feel that we're at the forefront with it. We've got all the world champions at 154. We've now got Tasha Jonas, Caroline Dubois coming through, who we've got big things about. And so, yeah, it means Clarissa's on the card here, but we've got Steve Robinson back on, the big heavyweight that performs well. We've got Conor Walker against Samuel Lanswy in the English title. We've got Rhys Edwards because we want to introduce some local Welsh talent who's very well thought about. So it's a stacked card, it's an amazing card, and I can't wait. I mean, the main event speaks for itself, but so does the rest of the card.
It absolutely does. But we've also got a big show this weekend, haven't we, at Wembley? How can you forget about that? There's so much to look forward to that. Riakporhe in action. A lot to like, isn't it? The Zine brothers, yeah, they're fighting as well. And also Dan Aziz versus Jose Burton. I feel like I have to whisper because someone is talking behind me. This is very awkward. But there's a lot to like about this weekend.
There is a lot to like. I think when we first started, it was like, let's invest in international. We've seen Crawford Porter this weekend. Yeah. We've seen Jamel Herring and Shakur Stevenson. But also let's invest in the British sport. And so we've got Florian Marku on the card. As you say, we've got debuts from Adam Azim. We've got the big heavyweight clash between Nick Campbell and Danny Whitaker. And, of course, the British light heavyweight title as well. So a lot of boxing on Sky at the moment, a lot of investment into the British sport, a lot of investment to the big names as well. So it's got everything. I can't wait for this Saturday. But today we're here for Eubank Williams, and it's going to be an exciting end to the year. Are
you prepared for what might happen today? Because there are a few tensions that are bubbling between these two.
I actually had to, yeah, I am concerned. I was in the Ingle gym a couple of days ago with Liam Williams, and he seriously hates...
Johnny said he's fired up.
He seriously doesn't like Chris Eubank Jr. This is a fight he always wanted. We know Chris won't back down. Fair play to Chris for going into the lion's den, so to speak, in Cardiff. So it's got everything, this fight. But the fact is, yeah, these two guys don't like each other. So hopefully myself, Calla, we could keep them apart and everything goes smoothly today.
And quite often when the rivalries are like that, and it's a rivalry that's kind of simmered, isn't it, bubbled for a while now. It's like a fight that needs to happen. The air needs to be clear between these two.
They're both in the prime as well.
Yeah.
They're both coming into their early 30s. They need the big fights. Chris hopefully can go on to world titles from this. Liam will be thinking the same if he can win. So it's got everything. Liam really wanted this fight for a long time, but fair play for Chris for taking it. And Chris is confident, Liam's confident, but whoever wins is set up perfectly for the world titles.
How are you viewing this fight? How are you seeing it? Johnny said 60-40. I kind of build it as could be a 50-50. Adam was thinking the same. How are you viewing it?
Both fighters know no other way than to come forward. And I think neither of them are going to back down. The only doubt I have is Chris is trying out new things. He's been with Roy Jones Jr. He does look better. And I think he needs to be on the front foot and go back to what he does best to win this fight.
That's a good point, because we talked about that, because so far Chris has basically done everything that Roy Jones has asked of him, yeah? And he's been a brilliant student. But I've asked Johnny, I've asked Adam, do you think we need to see a little bit more, a little bit extra from Chris? Surely he has to deliver a bit more on December the 11th.
He's got to be careful, because you can't try out new things against Liam Williams. Liam Williams is going to come forward and absolutely take it to Chris in front of the Welsh fans. And so that's my one doubt. Chris has got to realise what he's needed to win this fight. And I think it's the Chris Eubank Jr. of old, and that makes for an explosive fight, because both of them are going to come out. It's not going to go the distance, and that's what's so exciting about this fight.
And an opportunity for Liam Williams to really, really come and upset Chris Eubank Jr.'s party, and that road to the big fights. I mean, that's a huge thing dangling in front.
Murata and Golovkin, I think, fight each other on December 29th. I know Chris has got an eye on that, but as you said, we can have all the plans for Chris in the world, but this is a fight he didn't need to take. But now it's here. Liam will be, as you say, looking to upset the party, looking to get his chance at world titles, looking to take what he can from this fight and move on. So both of them have everything on the line for this one, and we'll see.
What happens then, Ben? What happens in this one?
I can't say. I've got too much respect for both fighters for taking this. I think what we know is it's going to be an amazing fight, and that's what's so amazing about this fight. Live on Sky Sports, not on pay-per-view. No one really knows who's going to win. No one really knows which fight is going to turn up. And
which is what makes it so exciting and brilliant. That intrigue, isn't it? There is a lot of intrigue surrounding these two.
Yes, and I've heard so many people tell me Liam Williams has got his number. I've had a lot of people saying all Chris has to do is turn up, and so we'll see. But I think Chris is probably the slight favourite. But when we put Cardiff to him, and now we know we're going to have a sold-out.
What was his reaction when you said Cardiff?
He's a warrior. I mean, like his dad. His dad used to go away fighting in Newcastle, fighting in Wales, fighting in Ireland. So Chris Eubank Jr. is a warrior. He'll thrive on this. And so when we mentioned to it, he dusted it off, as you can imagine. And that's what makes it so exciting, because I don't think he realises how many fans Liam Williams does have and how loud they're going to be.
Well, yeah, and it's not just how many fans does Liam Williams have, it's also Cardiff at Christmas as well, which is going to be rather lively.
It is. I think we've got extra security for this one. It's sold. I've never seen sales like it. Obviously, it's our first series fight with Sky, and I've never seen sales like it. I can't wait. But yeah, Cardiff's going to be lively on December the 11th, and I know both fighters are looking forward to it.
Okay, are you up on that? You are. I better let you go. I think Vidal Riley. Can I see Vidal? Yeah. I think he might step in. You go and do your job. Good to see you, Ben. Enjoy it. Okay, so Vidal Riley's going to come and join us in a sec. You always look so cool, Vidal.
I am.
You are. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Look at this lights, camera in action. It's looking good. It's looking very good.
Before we get onto yourself, how excited are you about this press conference today? All we've been talking about, because it could get rather sort of niggly up there.
I'm excited. We know the two guys don't like each other. That always makes for a more interesting fight, because everyone wants to push that little bit more to get the win. You want to have those bragging rights. So I'm excited, and I'm also excited to see how quickly, Sky and Boxer, the events are really propelling, because I done the live stream for the first one. We see it building. Now we've got a grudge match to finish the year, so I'm really excited. It's good.
We are working you hard, aren't we, Vidal? You're not only working with us, but you're going to be fighting as well.
Yeah, so now I've signed with Sky Sports and Boxer to fight, to have, as we said, there's a multiple fight deal, multiple years as well. So I'm excited to actually be a part of the mix, not only do the live streams, but be the guy in there. So very good.
We've been told to wrap it up.
Yeah.
You're basically going to be here, there and everywhere. Right, let's get on with proceedings then and hand you over to Adam Smith for the introductions.
All good?
Yes.
All good. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, just about. It's a big day on a big week as we really start to motor into a new era for boxing. Our 4-year deal with Top Rank provides us with one of the most exciting global fights of recent times this weekend in Crawford Porter. After the 4th show in our 4-year deal here in the UK with the innovative Boxer team at Wembley. Join us for that. Our fiery 5th is our most enticing yet. A fabulous card, including Clarissa Shields defending her world belts, topped by the biggest domestic duel of 2021. It's a British blockbuster and a real statement of intent from Boxer, from Sky, and from Chris Eubank's promoters Wasserman to all work together and collaborate to provide such a major fight on Sky Sports for all our customers to enjoy on December the 11th. Most importantly, it's a huge thank you from us to Chris and to Liam, these two tip-top gladiators putting it all on the line for us. It's a real test for Chris Eubank Jr.'s starry middleweight ambitions as he enters the Lion's Den against the excellent, accomplished Welshman who pushed the world champion Demetrius Andrade all the way just a few months ago. Add to this some animosity, a little needle and spice, a great blend of styles, and it's a fight and night we cannot wait for. A return to Wales too, where we at Sky have enjoyed a rich bond from Robbie Regan, Nicky Piper, Steve Robinson in my early days in the 90s, through Barry Jones, Nathan Cleverley, Gavin Rees, Enzo Macronelli, Bradley Price, Lee Selby, and of course the standout, brilliant Joe Calzaghe, who we hope will join us on the night. Can't wait to get over that bridge for the passionate fans and for a pre-Christmas cracker. So, without further ado, let's meet everyone on the top table. First of all, the CEO, the man behind Boxer, Ben Shalom.
Thanks, everyone, for being here today. I mean, what a journey we have had. We started on Sky about 40 days ago, and so to be here today with what we think is the biggest domestic fight in Britain, to make sure that it's on Sky Sports. These are the fights that that got me into the sport. These are the fights that the nation needs to see. These are the fights that need to be free to air. And so to be able to do this this quickly into this tenure is unbelievable. I think when we started with Sky, it was, how can we bring the biggest international fights onto the platform? We've seen Pacquiao's retirement fight. We've seen a masterclass from Shakur Stevenson against Jamel Herring, thanks to our partners in Top Rank. We've got Crawford Porter this Saturday. And we've also invested massively in the British sport. We've invested massively in women's sport with Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields, Caroline Dubois, straight out of the Olympics, and Tasha Jonas, who joined us last week, but also in the men's sport, where we think we've selected the stars of the future in Adam Azim and Rhys Edwards and Vidal Riley and Richard Riakporhe. But one thing we said to Adam when we first came is, we want the big fights to remain on Sky. We want the big domestic fights that get the whole nation behind boxing, that grow the sport on Sky. And when Josh Taylor got injured for our co-promotion with Top Rank on December the 18th, we knew that we had to do something special in December. And this is special. This is a serious fight. And I don't think anyone expected this to happen so quickly. And as Adam said, credit to both fighters. I mean, Chris for accepting to go into the Lion's Den, the Dragon's Den in Cardiff, and Liam Williams as well for stepping up. Both these fighters are in the prime of their career, and it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time for British boxing, and one of these fighters is going to get their world title shots. We've got Golovkin and Murata fighting on December the 29th. I know that's very much in Chris's mind, but Liam's here to spoil the party, and I don't think anyone can call this one, and that's what makes it so exciting. And yeah, I want to say thank you as well to Calla Sauerland and Wasserman Boxing for being instrumental in getting such a big fight over the line as well. And can't wait. It's a big start from us, and we look forward to next year on the back of this.
Thanks, Ben. Dan, a few words and how excited you are from the Boxer point of view?
I think, putting on a fight of this magnitude after just 40 days shows our intentions and our ambition in this sport. It's a fight that doesn't need any introduction. It's a huge fight, a genuine 50-50. And when Ben called me actually and said he wanted to make this fight in Cardiff, I said no chance to him. I did not think that Chris Eubank would be willing to go there, because it just is going to be such a fiery crowd that I just didn't think that he'd want to be fighting in that environment. But he's obviously got some big cojones. He's ready to go there and do a job. And obviously, it's no secret that these two aren't the best of friends. They don't love each other. There's already a little bit of needle there. So on paper, this is a fight that you look at, and it's a potential fight of the year candidate immediately, straight off the bat. And I'll eat my shoe if it doesn't deliver.
I'll hold you to that.
Quote me.
We'll hold you to that, Dan. I think it will deliver. From Team Wasserman, Chris's promoter, Calla Sauerland. Good to see you, Calla.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I won't be eating any shoes, but what I can tell you is we have a banger, we have a Christmas cracker, we have a blockbuster. We have everything that I thrive to watch in boxing. This is as brutal as it can get. You've got two gladiators, forget all the tit-for-tat that we're going to hear in a minute. We got two guys who only have one gear, and that's the forward gear. You're talking about world number 1 against world number 6. Throw it all out the window. Forget that. This is what we want to see. It's the throwback fights. These are the fights, all British fights, where so much is on the line. You know, I grew up in an age of watching it on a rival platform, on ITV in the 90s, and as a kid watching, you know, what Senior did with the likes of Ben, with Watson, with Collins, you know, those great fights. And, you know, Chris and me go back a while now, and I remember the night in Stuttgart when he fought Yildirim, and no one knew much about Yildirim at that stage. He took the challenge, he went into Stuttgart, which is pretty much Istanbul, and in a Galatasaray atmosphere, welcome to hell, the flags are up, the flares are going. This man walks down, literally doesn't want security too close to him, the union draped across him, walks in, does the business, doesn't even celebrate, and just stands in the middle of the ring. For me, that moment, I knew this man is cool as ice. And, you know, when we made the fight, he didn't even ask me where it was. I think he thought it was in Birmingham. So the fact that he is taking this, knowing what's on stage for him next year, what a fight, what a challenge. Williams also absolutely wanted this fight, has made no secret about it, which is fantastic for the sport, that two people at this level want to put it up. They could both easily go back into mandatory positions. No, put it all on the line. Lovely jubbly. I'll have a bit of that, and can't wait for December 11.
Thanks, Calla. Right, let's bring the boys together. The two gladiators who will be fighting it out on December the 11th. Let's start with Liam Williams. Liam, great to have you with us. Welcome to London, although you'll be welcoming us to Wales soon. How excited are you that finally, pen to paper, this clash is happening?
Yes, it's an amazing thing for me to bring this fight back to Wales. You know, it's one, you know, so many people have been talking about for a long time, and everybody's just buzzing. They can't get over the fact that it's been brought to Wales as well, and there's no one more excited than me. So, you know, what more can I ask for? I just need to turn up on the 11th of December and deliver, and just give it to Chris, basically.
But you've wanted this for a long time. Obviously, you had your world title challenge. You pushed Demetrius Andrade all the way earlier in the year. How much does this mean to you personally? How much do you want victory on December the 11th?
It's massive for me because obviously I'm coming off a loss to Demetrius Andrade. You know, that was a world title fight. There's not really any shame in that. You know, obviously I'm gutted I lost and whatever, but you know, I need to win this fight to get myself back out there and back in a position where I fight for another world title. And it's just Chris standing in my way. So you know, I just have to go through him and deal with Chris, and then we'll move on to the next one.
You say go through him. How highly do you respect Chris Eubank Jr?
I do respect him. You know, I got a lot of respect for him as a fighter. We're not really each other's type of people. You know, we're never really going to be friends. But as a fighter, he's good. He's tough. He's durable. Always in fantastic shape. And he comes to have a good fight. So, you know, respect to him in that sense. But you know, he's just another opponent to me. He's just another body in front of me, and I want to punch his head in and move forward. That's the respect. But personally, what do you feel about him? I don't have much respect for him personally because, you know, not that I know him a great deal, but I just don't like the way he goes about his business, and that's all there is to it, really. There's nothing more I can say other than he's not my type of guy, and he's not somebody I would want to be friends with outside of boxing. Well, he's not someone I want to be friends with inside of boxing, but you know what I'm saying. What sort of an atmosphere will he have to get through on December the 11th, that whole week in Cardiff? We haven't had a big fight down there in a while. I'm sure that your fans and the passion there is going to be red hot, isn't it, just before Christmas? Yeah, you know, it's the Wales fans, they're going to be quite hostile. They're very passionate. They're, you know, the Welsh are amazing people, amazing fans, so it's not going to be the most welcoming for him, but you know, I'm pretty sure he'll thrive off it, just like I would if I was fighting away from home. I quite like fighting away from home myself, if I'm honest. Gives you that extra little bit of nerves and, you know, gets you on edge. So I'm sure he'll react to the situation very well. You know, he's that type of guy. He's very mentally strong. So we'll see. I don't think that's going to make a massive difference. You know, we're both ready to do a job, and the best man will win on the night.
And you say you'll walk through him. How do you beat Chris?
You know, we've obviously got a bit of a game plan in place, and we all know what his strengths and weaknesses are. Anybody with a good jab, bit of movement, he's always going to struggle with just them two things alone. He wants to stand and just you know, if you stand in front of him with no head movement and whatnot, he's gonna punch holes in you, and that's just how he goes about his thing. So you know, bit of movement, good jab, and he's always going to have an hard night.
Do you think you'll stop him?
I don't know. I'd like to be very confident and say, yes, I'm definitely going to stop him, but I'm unsure because he's a very tough and durable boy. Man. Yeah, he's very durable, he's very tough, so I can't say for sure. I'd like to, but I'm going to be prepared to go the 12 rounds and, you know, beat him on points if need be.
Thanks, Liam. Let's bring Chris in. Liam says you're not friends, but he has respect for you in the ring. What's your response to that in the way you view Liam Williams?
Yeah, I mean, respect is definitely not a word I would use in my feelings towards Liam. He's said a lot of reckless things online, and yeah, it doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me at all. This is a grudge match. This is a genuine domestic rivalry. It's personal. You know, the things he said, he's made it personal. It seems like he's come here today and tried to, come in and talk about respect and say these things, but it's gone too far past that now. He's going to pay for what he said, and he's going to get embarrassed in front of his
mouth, Chris.
in front of his hometown.
You're full of shit.
And on Sky Sports 1, he's going to get hurt, and that's all I've got to say, really.
Chris, what are the things that have really upset you?
I'm not going to repeat it.
Tell him, Chris.
The things he said.
Tell him.
Low life, scumbag, cretin. These are the words that I can use to describe a man that talks the way he talks, and he'll eat his words soon enough.
Why do that, Liam?
Say again, sorry?
Why do that?
Why do what?
From what he's saying. Is that right? Is he right? What he's saying?
Yeah, I've said a couple of things to him online, and things I stand by. I'll never take them back. I'm one of them people. I don't have no regrets. Whatever I've said, I've said. If you don't like it, then who cares? I don't.
It's a massive fight for you, Chris. It's something that you've called for as well. You wanted this. You want to make a big statement this side of Christmas before you hopefully move on into that world title picture. So how crucial is it that you get this absolutely right on the night?
It's not that I wanted the fight. The fans wanted the fight. I don't care about Liam Williams. He doesn't really bring anything to the table, in my opinion, apart from a big mouth. The fans wanted the fight, and I like to please the fans.
Can I just ask something? So, why have this fight come to Cardiff? Is it because you don't sell a single ticket? You haven't got a friend to your name?
Yes,
and I've sold them all.
I don't sell any tickets, so I had to come to Cardiff because you're the A side and you're the best.
I'm glad you admitted that, mate. Good man.
Whatever you like to hear, my friend. At the end of the day, wherever it is, it makes no difference. Whether it's in Wales, whether it's in a telephone box, it's gonna make no difference in the outcome. You're gonna get obliterated on the night.
Good man.
And that's.
Good man.
and then we move on to bigger and better things. But it's going to be a fun fight. You know, the fans know that the styles that we both have are gonna gel very well. You know, he doesn't have what it takes to stop what I'm going to do. He's going to try, but he doesn't have what it takes. So eventually I'm going to get to him, and either he's going to quit or he's going to get knocked out.
Calla says that you obviously don't mind going on the road. You sort of embrace that. Your dad was always a star at that as well. Is it that strong mentality that you have? You don't care where the fight is. You just get in there and do your business. Yeah,
listen, I've been in this game a long time. I've been in arenas where everyone's against me, and I've been in arenas where everyone's with me, and I've noticed, or I found that it doesn't actually make a difference. Some guys need the crowd behind them to be able to perform, or they get deflated if everyone's not with them. You know, I don't mind being the bad guy. I'll be the bad guy on the night if I have to be. You know, I'm sure I have my own fans up there, but yeah, it's a Welsh crowd, so I'm sure that it will be you know, it will be a hostile environment, and that's okay. You know, it's going to be a hostile night.
And you say you'll go through him. You believe that will happen, that he'll quit, that you'll win by stoppage?
Yeah, I don't see, with his style, I don't see it going 12 rounds. You know, he's got heart, he's got will and determination, but that heart is what's going to get him hurt. You know, he's gonna, you know, he's talking about game plans and strategies, and you know, I've just got to have good foot movement and a good jab, and you know, that isn't going to save.
Look at Sugar Ray, yeah.
That isn't going to save.
Sugar Ray, Money May, Jones.
He doesn't have the skills.
Full of shit.
And yeah, you guys will see.
Do you think that finally all the work you've done with Roy Jones Jr. is going to come out on December the 11th, and you'll be really able to show what you've learnt with him?
Yeah, I mean, listen, me and Roy have been together now for coming up to, you know, a year and a half, 2 years. And, you know, I'm learning each and every day with him. But even if I had never met Roy, you know, I would still go in there and blast this guy out. So it's not really about what I've learned with Roy. It's just about, you know, how much better I am than this man. People are talking about this a 50-50 fight. I mean, I love to hear that. You know, it makes me chuckle thinking about it. But I like the fact that people actually think that this guy has a chance, because you know, when I do destroy him, it makes it more impressive, I guess. Yeah, it's going to be a fun night.
And do you need that big performance before you take on the world's very best? We know Golovkin and Murata are fighting, you know, just before the end of the year. There's lots out there ahead for you in 2022 if you get this right.
Some big fights in 2022. Absolutely looking to challenge for a world title. There's some big names, and yeah, this is the platform, or this is the fight that's going to set me up nicely for those fights in 2022. I'm not looking past this man. I'm not underestimating him. You know, I'm treating this like it is a world title fight, and I'm going to go in there and do the job.
And back on the platform of Sky Sports, so everyone can see this fight. That's really important to you, isn't it?
Yes. You know, free to view. And the fight will go out to the masses, which is always a good thing. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a night.
So look at Liam and tell us what's going to happen on December the 11th, Chris.
Well, I've said already, you know, this guy doesn't have what it takes. In my opinion, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. It's on him to prove himself. You know, if it's a 50-50 fight, then I guess, you know, I guess maybe I've got something to prove, if that's what everybody thinks. But I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. Looking at him, I don't think I'm going to have too many issues. And yeah, I can't wait in there to go in there and teach this guy a lesson, take him down a couple pegs.
And your response, Liam, ahead of what will definitely be a night to remember on the 11th of December?
I personally just think this guy's full of shit, mate. He's full of he knows how to talk. He's a pretty good talker. I think he must have had some lessons. Daddy must have paid for some lessons for him when he was a bit younger or something. But yeah, he can talk. He just needs to go and prove himself, doesn't he, and come up with the goods on the night.
So final word, Liam, what happens on December the 11th?
It's just going to be a win for Liam Williams, and it's going to be a good fight, no doubt. So make sure, if you're not there, make sure you tune in. It's going to be exciting.
And final word from you, Chris.
Final word from me. Yeah, listen, everything's been said. It's going to be a fun fight, and somebody's going to get hurt for sure, and it's not going to be me. It's not going to be me.
The domestic duel of the year, December the 11th in Cardiff. We cannot wait. Just a few weeks to go, and we'll all be crossing over that bridge for what will be a fantastic atmosphere and a terrific card as well, with Clarissa Shields defending her world middleweight titles, many others on like Bradley Ray, Steve Robinson. It's going to be a fantastic night. Reece Edwards as well down there. So hopefully everyone can join us and watch it on Sky Sports December the 11th. We're going to bring the fighters down to the bottom for a face-to-face. And if everyone could just remain seated at the back so that the cameras and the photographers can get their work done. Thank you very much. And they'll be available, I think, for some one-on-one interviews. Maybe not together. Anyway, have a good afternoon.
I'm back. You got me? Sorry. You got it? One fish step and look this way again, please. One fish step, one fish side. Next to him. Get down to the left as well. Go down the middle again, guys. Then just fold your arms, please, guys. Right down the middle, guys.
First of all, I want his coat. We're fighting over the coat. It was disrespectful between both fighters, which is good. And Chris did what Chris normally does. Talks calm, and he doesn't realise how much that ruffles feathers.
There was a lot of speculation, Chris, good to see you, beforehand when we were chatting, of whether you were going to sort of get drawn into Liam's back and forth, and you were a pretty cool customer up there.
Yeah, listen, I'm not a kid. I'm not a schoolboy, and that's the type of things that he has been saying online. It's schoolboy insults, and it's embarrassing. I'm not going to lower myself to that. I'm definitely not going to let it affect my mood or my energy. Like I said, I'm just going to make him eat his words.
A lot of talk about you going into the lion's den, but it seems that that's not going to bother you and something that you're going to embrace.
No, I mean, listen, I've done it many times before, and I'm sure I'll do it many times after this. Going into an away crowd, it's fun. It gives me a boost. Like, it excites me knowing that there's people out there that want me to lose, because it gives me that extra drive. If everyone's there expecting you to win and wanting you to win, it's kind of like, all right, well, there's no sauce, there's no fire. I like a little bit of spice, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So far, sorry, Johnny, I know you want to ask a question. I just want to ask. We've seen what you've done with Roy Jones Jr. in terms of training. You have done everything that he's asked of you in your fight so far. What are we going to see on December 11th? Are we going to see a little bit extra from you? What are we going to see?
Yeah, I'm pulling out all the stops in this fight. This is the big one for me for this year, and I'm putting everything together in one package, and I'm gonna go out there and take this guy out.
John,
looking at what you've done in your career, do you think Liam should be in there with somebody like you? What dangers does he bring?
I mean, listen, every fight is dangerous. Anyone who wants to win, anyone who has the desire to be something in the sport is a danger. He does have that desire. If he didn't, he wouldn't have got in there and gone 12 rounds with Andrade. So, he's game. He's game. But that's just not going to be enough to take away, what I'm going to do.
Do you feel a pressure to produce a real statement to go on to the bigger fights?
Yes, I mean, I say every time, you have to make a statement every time I go out there. But in this fight in particular, with everything that's potentially there in 2022, I have to go out there and perform and make a statement and look better than Andrade did against him.
You look well. You look happy. How is training going?
Good. Yeah, I'm close to fight weight already. I'm only 6 pounds over the weight at the moment. With 3.5 weeks to go. Took a little break, week or two off after the last fight, and then straight back in the gym. I think this is the first time in a long time that I've kind of come off a fight and then gone straight back into a camp.
Does that feel good?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, there's no, you don't dip too far away from your peak. So I've come back into the training camp and I'm already at a good level. So now I'm going to be able to reach a higher peak before this.
Would it be your choice of opponent, giving it down to your word? Would it be your choice in the direction you want to go in regards to the Golovkins, XYZ? Would Liam be somebody that you would say, all right, that's the right opponent, puts me in the right direction?
You know what? This has become personal. Now it's like I just want to go in there and beat him up.
Why?
And I don't want to fight him when I have a world title. I don't want to give him that opportunity.
Wow.
So I'd rather take him out. I'd rather give him his lesson before I become a world champion than have that fight be made when I get a world title.
But on the flip side for Liam, he's seeing that he could derail all those plans on December the 11th.
That's what he's saying. That's, I'm sure, what he's planning, but that is not what's going to happen.
So you said up there that you think you're going to embarrass him. How are you going to do that?
Listen, I'm going to hit him with every shot in the book over and over again until he quits or he gets stopped. That's how I'm going to embarrass him.
It's going to be a good fight, isn't it, Johnny? What was your take up there? Because obviously, you know...
I actually liked, and before I said that, I know Roy's introduced some amazing menu to your ability. I think it's your third fight with Roy. Yeah. And I know you're fit, you're strong, you like to get in there and be in front of an opponent, but Roy's kind of tamed you to say, look, I want you to box and bash. So will you be tempted to fight fire with fire, or are you going to have that Roy in your ear to say, no, I want you to box, I want you to beat him up, I want you to keep on the end of the jab because we're setting our stall out for the big fights there?
It's going to be hard. It's going to be a challenge because of the way I feel about this man. I want to get him. So there may be points in the fight where I should step off or I should do something which Roy's telling me, but I'm going to want to just go in there and tear him up.
And what are you going to do at that point?
Well, you guys will have to wait and see.
I've seen the argument. I think when you watched Mark Morrison, it was that situation at times. You could see he was second thinking, just go in there and jump on him, and then Roy had that influence of saying, come on, we're building blocks here for bigger fights ahead. And this is probably one of those, because now it's not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental, to think, right, I've got to stick to the game plan.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. You know, there's going to be points in the fight where, you know, I'm going to have to decide what to do. You know, whether I do Roy's style, whether I do my style, whether I do a combination of both. But you know, we're covering all the bases, and yeah, I'm very confident it's going to be a hell of a fight.
I'm not a fan of asking fighters this, especially when it's only a few weeks ago, but if you could give me a prediction now, if you will, how do you see it going? You said it won't go the distance, stars are going to gel, could be fireworks. What are you predicting?
I don't think it'll go 12 rounds. With the style he has, he gets hit too much, and I don't think he can take 12 rounds of punishment. So yeah, I believe he'll either quit or he'll get stopped, and yeah, I'm gonna do my utmost to make either one of those happen.
Best of luck, Chris. We'll see you no doubt over the next few weeks. You'll be seeing him later on this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Johnny's filming a Gloves Are Off this afternoon. I cannot wait for that. That is going to get tasty, isn't it?
You know what? The last question I've got is, where's the goal from?
That is a secret.
I'd say run, because it's going to be off your back before you go.
That's a secret. Everyone's going to have one of these.
Don't take
A bit of advice this afternoon in Sky Studios: don't put it on the back of your chair, because it'll be off before you know it. Good luck with it. Thanks for talking to us, Chris.
See you later.
Oh. And no, you can't have it. Everyone's eyes are going to be on you. We're hoping that we're going to speak to Liam in just a sec. He's coming over. What are you reading from Chris so far?
Nothing's changed. No. Calm, cool, doesn't give much away. Quite confident, a confident fighter, because he's got to look at what he's achieved and what he's done. So I totally get that. And it's probably a chip off the old block in regards to Liam. In regards to his old man. Yeah.
Good to see you, Liam. How was that view up there? I mean, you tried to get a bit of needle in there?
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. I've done these press conferences so many times now, so it's nothing new to me. It's you know, just going about it the way I do.
How do you go about beating Chris? You're supremely confident.
Yeah, of course, very confident. You know, Chris has a lot of strengths, but he also has a lot of weaknesses too. So. You know, we're working on some things in the gym. We know where we're going with it, and we know what we've got to do. So, without giving too much away, I just think it's going to be an exciting fight.
Where do you see Chris's weaknesses?
You know, he started training with Roy Jones for one. I'm not saying that itself is a weakness, but Chris is he's like an all-out assault pressure fighter. He brings high work rate. And everything else, you know, ferocity, and now all of a sudden he's starting to like do this kind of like holding his arm out, leaping in with shots, and trying to box, and you know, trying to fight like Roy. So I think his defence is quite leaky. Yeah, and I'm not going to keep going, but there are a lot of things which I've seen, and that's what we're working towards.
Chris has spoken a lot, hasn't he, about his future plans and the big fights, the mega fights that he wants out there. How much of an opportunity are you seeing this to come and upset the apple cart?
Yeah, well, of course, it's easy enough to go and talk about future plans, and I could be doing that myself, but I'm not. I think this is a good, hard fight, and I need to come, you know, on the 11th of December. I need to turn up fully ready, fully focused. Otherwise, I'm going to lose, and that's the way I'm looking at this. So I need to be 100%. I can't be taking my eye off the ball and looking elsewhere. What could be coming after this? Because if I lose there is no big fights. I know
you're a no-nonsense kind of guy. And so I suppose when you said on stage that maybe in and out of the ring, Chris is not my kind of guy. Again, you know, you've been very honest. You've been very direct. I expect to win. I don't know how, but I expect to win. Do you think What's the worst mistake he could do with you in the ring to try and box you or to try and stand toe to toe with you?
I think I don't know. To be honest, I think I got a good chance of busting him up either way it goes, because if he tries boxing, I've got more boxing ability than him and a better boxing brain. I think his best chance is just to come and have a fight with me, if I'm being totally honest with you, because, you know, then it's going to be who lands the bigger shots more often, and I just think it's going to be a battle of survival of the fittest then, if it comes into that type of fight. But him trying to outbox me, I don't think works for him.
Who do you think's the biggest puncher?
I'm a bigger puncher than him.
So if there's going to be a knockout, you know you believe you've got that punch power to get rid of him. Yeah,
100%. I've definitely got the power to get rid of him. One of Chris's strengths are he puts his punches together very well, punches and punches. He's got a good shot variety. So you know, that's what I need to watch out for. But in terms of one punch knockouts, it's always going to be me, really.
How do you think he'll fare as well, being in the Lion's Den? We've spoken about that. How do you think he'll fare? There'll be a lot of support for yourself there.
If I'm being honest, I think it'll make him perform better, because.
And that's what he said too.
Yeah, I think you know, when you're away from home and everybody's against you, and you know everybody's giving you stick and, you know, shouting when you're not on your way to the ring and whatnot. So when that happens, it tends to fire you up a little bit more nerves, and nerves are your friend, really.
Do you feel you need to get under his skin in this fight, or is that not needed?
I don't really think it's needed.
Do you think you are?
Yeah, I've already done my. If I do need to, then my job is already done. I think I've already got under his skin a little bit. He's a bit cheesed off. So yeah, it is what it is. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm glad that he is a bit pissed off, because I want him to come and have a fight with me. I don't want to battle of the jabs. I want to have it out with him, and I want to, you know, even if it's me. I plan to stop him. I plan to knock him out. Yeah, but I don't want to go down. I don't want to lose on a battle of jabs. If I lose, I'd rather just go down swinging.
You plan to stop him. You plan to knock him out. I asked Chris this question. We have to finish off by asking you your prediction. How long do you see it going?
I think he'll go towards the back end of the fight. 6, 8 rounds, 8, 9 rounds maybe, and I think he'll start running out of ideas, and I'll just be there giving it to him all night, and he'll probably have to get saved by his corner or the ref.
There's a little wry smile coming there. I see a little smile coming. It is going to be good either way, isn't it? It's going to be a cracking night on December 11th. Best of luck. We'll see you over the coming weeks. You're going to be with Johnny this afternoon for the Gloves Are Off. Looking forward to that. Yeah, it is all set up and poised for one brilliant night of boxing. December the 11th. Date for the diary. See you there.